Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Calhoun's. Tuesday night, the Vols host Vanderbilt at Thompson Bowling Arena, and that means you can grab a bite at Calhoun's on the River before the game. You can grab a bite of Calhoun's for dinner at Thompson Bowling Arena, or you can head to Calhoun's on the River after the game. Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee, especially when it comes to Tennessee basketball, this Tuesday when they host Vanderbilt. All right, I want to welcome in the next member of our panel. Right down there, we're bookending with WNML guys. We got Vince Ferrara back with us. Vince, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
All right, the NCAA, they keep talking about Tennessee possibly getting back on the bubble. Let's take a look at Tennessee's tournament resume here. In terms of their net rating, that's what's replaced RPI. That's the NCAA's official list. They were 64th in the nation, and that was before yesterday's loss to South Carolina. So that is not a great net rating. You look at what they've done versus top 25 teams in net ranking. They're 0-3. As a matter of fact, the five best teams they've played this year, who all rank 31st or higher, all losses. They're 3-3 against teams ranked 26 to 50. They're 500 against teams ranked 50 to 100. Then they beat teams up who are terrible. So you've even got the Texas A&M loss there, the plus 100s. But you're 7-1 against plus 100 teams, 7-10 against the teams that, are more meaty on the schedule. My question for you guys, okay, barring the miracle 5-1 finish or something here, is it time to stop with the NCAA bubble talk that I keep hearing and reading everywhere? I'm sorry, I'm taking this team, the bubble has popped in my view. Am I wrong?
You are correct. I would say they are no longer on the bubble unless they were to...
Miracle.
Yes.
Miracle run that we just don't see coming.
Yeah, the last segment kind of showed is not realistic with this team.
Exactly. Agreed?
Yeah, that Texas A&M loss that was of course there were still a lot of games to play, but that was kind of the one in my mind that said, this isn't a bubble team.
We said that Sunday. You can't lose that week, and they went straight out and lost to Texas A&M at home. Vincenzo, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Even guys on the broadcast last night were talking about SEC bubble teams that weren't currently in right now, and they weren't even mentioning Tennessee prior to them losing last night. Plus, out of the numbers that you gave, they're 2-7 in the quad one games, which also account for where you play those games. That's not a good record and won't compare well with any bubble teams, even if you do get back into the mix, which I don't think they will.
Well, let me show you the NIT then. I know nobody out there saying, ooh, NIT. But can Tennessee get an NIT bid? Even that is sketchy. Last year, now here's the thing about the NIT. All teams now, it's not just we take a bunch of Power 5 teams to make money and get on TV. All teams that win their conference regular season title but don't get the automatic bid in their conference tournament, I love this rule. They automatically get into the NIT. I think that's great. So if some small conference team is undefeated in their regular season and they get upset in their tournament, they got a natural landing spot in the NIT. Okay, if you're a UT fan, you don't want any of the upsets in the conference tournaments. You want chalk to open up more bids. You don't want those teams falling in there. Here's what they had last year. Out of 32 bids, 22 were at-large. There were 10 automatics last year in the NIT. 9 of the 32 overall bids, 9 of the 22 at-large, went to Power 5 teams. You see their records. You see their net rankings over there. I mean, you're talking about Tennessee is 64th. Well, those teams, 59, 54, 52, 48, 38, 35, 33, they didn't get in the NCAA last year. So it's hard to picture a 64 getting in there. The average Power 5 record of the teams that got in last year, 19-14. Average Power 5 net ranking 50. So Tennessee's going to be at 65 or below as of this morning. Guys, I think they better win at least 3 more games, probably 4 or 5 more games to even get an NIT bid. You see Alabama and Arkansas made it last year, 18-15, 17-15. Again, Tennessee 14-11 as of today. Your thoughts on the possibility of an NIT bid for Tennessee?
Yeah, I think those are really telling numbers. I mean, it really shows your point that they're a lot closer to the NIT and still have work to do there than they are the NCAA tournament. There's also a lot of big conference schools in that. I mean, there's ACC schools, the Big 12, and the SEC. That's pretty much everybody on your list. So
Power 5s, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of all those Power 5s. But yeah, I think it's very interesting that they leave a lot of those big programs out with good nets.
Well, and I'll say from the coaching side, like most coaches will give you the coaches talk of, we're excited to be in the NIT, we get all this extra practice time. Man, being in the NIT is terrible. No one talks about it. Everybody's doing the bracketology. Nobody's watching. It's a very empty feeling and a sad feeling to even make the NIT. Yeah, you have practices, but you're not really getting after it. You get a couple more practices, but it's just not a fun environment to be in. It can be a motivating thing because you remember, like, that was so bad, I never want to have to go through it again.
I don't want to ride a bus to Radford again. Yeah.
But if a coach is telling you, like, we're excited to be in IT, they probably had really, really low expectations for the year, and they exceeded those expectations to get in the NIT. But if you have a program with NCAA aspirations and you get in the NIT, it's not fun.
Or they had an NIT bonus in their contract.
Right. Even if you're Rick Barnes, you got a very young team, and you could use the extra time. Same answer. Not interested.
I mean, you don't mind to play. You still love basketball. You still love coaching.
But is there a benefit? Any benefit at all to getting them 3 more games or 2 more games in a tournament environment?
Yeah, there's some there's probably some value there. It's just not fun. It's not a coaching. It's not an exciting thing to be a part of. It's just. It's just not fun.
It's unless you make the Final Four and go to New York. It's which Tennessee did, and I got to be a part of that one time.
84,
85. But
okay.
But other than that, you're right. It's like you got a spring break coming up a lot of times. You know, it's kind of like a bowl game. Which team really wants to keep playing, and which one is just there because they have to be.
At least in the bowl game, you get a bunch of practices prior to playing to develop. You don't get that.
Well, that's interesting. I would expect a team with a young roster for the coaches to say, well, I'd rather get in than not get in. But it sounds like you're kind of...
Well, but everybody's about... The NCAA is really cool because the whole world is watching the NCAA tournament. And then all of a sudden you're in the NIT and you're a young kid and none of your friends or family are really caring about your game. They don't even really want to come. They want to watch the NCAA games. Like, it's not fun.
Okay. I would understand that. I guarantee the fans feel that way. I'm surprised that the coach would say, the benefits of getting the extra, because you always hear that. Well, we get the extra games. You're telling me that that's kind of outweighed by just the overall suckitude of the NIT, which I think is fair. It's honest. I like that.
There's a lot of effort in getting them motivated to want to practice and play for an NIT game.
What good are 2 more games if you play poorly against bad opponents and bad positions?
Yeah, you go lose to Mercer, and now you go into a season where now your fans are mad at you because you lost to Mercer. There's not much of an advantage for a Tennessee to play in NIT.
We are already miles over, but that was well worth it. That was good. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about all the shakeup on Jeremy Pruitt's staff, and there has been a lot of it. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Get ready for the Knoxville Man Show, presented by Wave Tech, a celebration of all things man. Trucks, home brewing, wings, gadgets, hunting, and more. Don't miss this free event. Visit KnoxvilleManShow.com for details.